You feel it every time you walk into a grocery store. That slight clench in your gut when you see the price of eggs or bread or meat. It feels unsustainable, like the ground is shifting beneath our feet. We see the headlines about inflation and supply chain disruptions, and we see the proof with our own eyes. Gaps on the shelves where staples used to be. It's a quiet, creeping crisis that leaves you feeling powerless, wondering how you're going to keep your family fed and healthy without breaking the bank. But what if I told you that this feeling of uncertainty is not new, and that the solutions we need today were forged in a time of far greater hardship? 80 years ago, during the height of World War II, families on the home front faced a level of scarcity we can barely imagine. It wasn't just high prices, it was total rationing. Sugar, butter, meat, and cheese were strictly limited by government-issued coupon books. Supply lines were dedicated to the war effort, leaving home kitchens with the barest of essentials. They faced a true survival scenario every single day. Yet, they didn't just survive, they innovated. Out of sheer necessity, an entire generation of home cooks became masters of culinary alchemy. They discovered ingenious ways to stretch a pound of meat to feed a family for a week. They created rich, delicious cakes without sugar or eggs. They learned to transform humble, cheap ingredients like potatoes, lentils, and oats into hearty, protein-packed meals that were both satisfying and deeply nutritious. These aren't just quaint, old-fashioned recipes. This is a lost art of resilience. A complete system for eating well, no matter what the world throws at you. In this video, we are going to unlock those secrets. This is your blueprint for taking back control of your kitchen and your budget, ensuring you can provide delicious, nourishing food for your family through any crisis. Starting today. January 1942. Rationing begins. Families lost 70% of their normal ingredients overnight. The recipes they'd used for generations became impossible. This was the moment normal cooking ended and survival cooking was born. And it's happening again right now. Faced with unprecedented scarcity, the home front didn't just adapt, it innovated. Guided by agencies like the Bureau of Home Economics, an entire generation of cooks rewrote the rules of the kitchen. They discovered 3 core principles that transformed cooking from a daily chore into a strategic act of survival. These weren't just recipes, they were a new philosophy of food, one that holds powerful lessons for us today. First, the principle of ingredient substitution. The wartime mandate was simple. When you can't get what you need, use what you have. This went far beyond simple swaps. It required understanding an ingredient's function. With sugar heavily rationed, cooks turned to molasses, honey, and even the natural sweetness of grated carrots and beets to create desserts. When butter and fats were scarce, rendered bacon, drippings, or schmaltz provided richness and flavor. Eggs, a precious protein, were often replaced as binders in meatloafs and patties by using mashed potatoes or moistened breadcrumbs. This wasn't about compromise, it was about culinary alchemy, turning limitations into opportunities and building a truly resilient pantry. Second, the principle of nutrient maximization. In a time of rationing, every single calorie had to count. Every bite needed to deliver the maximum possible survival nutrition. This meant prioritizing foods that were dense in protein, vitamins, and minerals. Meals were engineered for efficiency. A simple vegetable soup wasn't just soup. It was an opportunity to pack in vitamins from dark leafy greens and filling fiber from beans and barley. Potatoes weren't just a starch. Their skins were kept on to retain vital nutrients. This mindset shifted the focus from empty calories to functional fuel, ensuring that even on smaller rations, the body received what it needed to remain strong and healthy. Finally, the third, and perhaps most crucial principle, waste elimination. The mantra was, use it all. Every part of every ingredient was seen as a valuable resource. Potato peels and vegetable scraps weren't thrown away. They were simmered with leftover bones to create a nutrient-rich broth, or pot liquor, that formed the base for countless soups and stews. The leafy tops of carrots and beets, typically discarded, were treated as nutritious greens and added to salads. Stale bread was never wasted. It was transformed into breadcrumbs, croutons, or puddings. This nose-to-tail, root-to-leaf approach wasn't just about saving money. It was a profound act of respect for the food that was available, ensuring nothing was squandered. The home front faced its own battle, the battle for protein. With meat strictly rationed to a mere 2 ounces per person per week, barely enough for a single small meal, families had to get creative. This wasn't just about filling stomachs, it was about fueling the workforce that powered a nation at war. Out of this necessity, a culinary revolution was born. Housewives and home economists became inventors, transforming humble pantry staples into protein powerhouses. They engineered new recipes from the ground up, focusing on cost, nutrition, and longevity. Here are 4 foundational recipes from that era of ingenuity. First, the legendary lentil loaf. This wasn't just a substitute, it was an upgrade in thriftiness. Dried lentils, soaked overnight, formed the base. They were mashed with stale breadcrumbs, finely chopped onions, and savory herbs like thyme and sage to mimic the flavor profile of a traditional meatloaf. The result was a dense, satisfying loaf that sliced beautifully, held its shape, and delivered a powerful protein punch for a staggering 90% less than the cost of beef. It could be served hot for dinner, then sliced cold for sandwiches the next day, stretching one meal into 2. Next, potato protein patties. Potatoes were plentiful and cheap, but not known for their protein. The solution was to fortify them. Grated raw potato was mixed with just enough whole wheat flour and, if you could spare it, a single egg to bind it all together. Pan-fried in a little bacon fat or vegetable shortening, these humble patties became a nutritional powerhouse. When measured by protein content per dollar spent, they dramatically outperformed beef, providing essential amino acids to keep the population strong and resilient. They were a testament to making every single ingredient work harder. Recipe 3 showcases incredible foresight: bean-based sausages. In an age before reliable refrigeration for all, preserving food was paramount. These sausages were a marvel of food science. Dried beans like kidney or pinto were ground into a flour, heavily seasoned with salt, pepper, and paprika, then mixed into a thick, dough-like paste. This mixture was stuffed into casings and hung to air dry for weeks. The process removed moisture, concentrating the flavor and making the sausages shelf-stable for months on end, providing a ready source of protein long after the ingredients were purchased. Finally, a solution for when both meat and eggs were scarce: eggless meatballs. The challenge was binding. How do you get a meatball to hold its shape without the traditional egg and meat? The answer lay in surprising binding agents. A thick slurry of ground flaxseed and water, known as a flax egg, created a gelatinous binder. Alternatively, cooked and mashed oats or even potato starch would do the trick. Mixed with mashed beans and breadcrumbs, these ingredients created a firm, flavorful meatball that held up perfectly when baked or simmered in a simple tomato sauce. With flour severely limited, they created Recipe 5. Potato bread, no flour needed, stays fresh for weeks. Recipe 6. Victory muffins, use any available grain or vegetable. Recipe 7. Stretching stew, makes 1 cup of rice feed 8 people. With sugar almost impossible to find, they discovered Recipe 8. Carrot cake, sweetened with vegetables, not sugar. Recipe 9. Fruit leather, natural sugars preserved for months. Recipe 10. Molasses cookies, using industrial byproducts creatively. For meals that last through any emergency. Recipe 11. Pressure canned stew, safe, nutritious, lasts 5+ years. Recipe 12. Dehydrated soup, mixes, lightweight, compact, instant nutrition. Apply these today. Inflation, these recipes cost 80% less than normal meals. Supply chain issues, use whatever ingredients you can find. Power outages, most require minimal cooking. Time poverty, prepare once, eat for weeks. Inflation, these recipes cost 80% less than normal meals. Supply chain issues, use whatever ingredients you can find. Power outages, most require minimal cooking. Time poverty, prepare once, Eat for weeks. Food prices are rising faster than wages. Global supply chains are fragile. Economic uncertainty is the new normal. The WWII kitchen revolution isn't just history, it's your blueprint for eating well through the coming challenges. Transform your kitchen in just 7 days. Day 1. Master 3 core substitution principles. Day 2. Build your crisis pantry foundation. Day 3. Learn preservation basics. Day 4-7. Implement 2 to 3 recipes per day. WWII ended normal cooking and created survival cuisine that saved millions. Today's crises demand we relearn these skills immediately. For more historical solutions to modern emergencies, watch our End of an Era playlist. Your family's food security starts now.